Hello, Internet, and welcome to another episode of Thursday's Children here on GameKnights. I am your host and your game master and your friend. I think we're all friends here, Savvy. And we're here to play Vaesen. But before we do, I didn't check to see if there were any scheduling announcements. I don't think there are. I think this is a regularly scheduled week, but you can find our live streaming schedule if you're live with us on Twitch down below our faces on our Twitch drop page. If you are with us somewhere else on the internet, perhaps in the future on YouTube, you can find our streaming schedule on our Twitch page. You can also find it pinned to our Discord and pinned to the top of our Twitter. All wonderful places you can go to talk to us more if that's something you're interested in, which it seems like a lot of you are, and that's really cool. We want to talk to you too, so join our Discord, follow us on Twitter, you can subscribe to our YouTube, all of that good stuff. Merch. Also, we have merch. We have new merch now that is up in the store that I feel weird plugging because I made it. But I don't know, it's a weird sensation to be like, go buy this thing. I made it. It's great. I think it's great. But we have new merch from Neon Souls. It's our Gubba Bump shrimp company logo that you can get on a t-shirt or on a tank top or on a mug. It looks good on all of those.
I did get a compliment on the tank top yesterday.
Really?
I wore it on a walk around the neighborhood.
Yes.
And some youth, some teenager rode by on their bike and then rode back again. Was like, is that like the shrimp thing? That's funny. What does it say? I don't get it. That's funny though. And they kept going. It was really good. I felt
as long as they think it's funny, they don't have to get it.
They totally thought it was funny. It was great.
That's awesome. But yeah, you can buy stuff in our merch store. We've also got other stuff on there. We've got shirts that say "Bye Fly and Ready to Die." We've got shirts with our logo on them. You can also get it on like phone cases and shit. So yeah, check it out. It's really cool. We have a store and I'm proud of it. I think that's it for announcements. Check out our schedule. Our next live stream after this is going to be on Tuesday night at Tabletop Tuesdays, new time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll be back on Tuesday. But for now, I'm going to let these fine folk around me introduce themselves, tell you who they are, and where you can find them on the internet and who they're playing today. I think Sid starts this one.
Hello, woohoo, hey, I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters at Greek Sid. Usually just talking about the fun stuff I'm doing around these parts. I am here on and off on Thursdays, Fridays, on Star Power Saturdays, and here on Sundays. Yay! Thursdays we run. I should say we run. We do. It is a collaborative game. Play Good Society on Thursdays. Well, they're in a time loop. It's about 50 or so days in. Should be fun. Check it out. But right now, I'm playing Tilda. Tilda is the writer.
And I think that's me. I'm Morgan, also known as Imaginatrix on the internet. I'm mainly a cosplayer. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and all the social media as Imaginatrix. And today I'm playing Alina Yarvinen, who is the occultist.
You're muted.
Just kidding, my hotkeys not working, that's why. Hi, I'm LV Hackemup. You can find me at LV Hackemup on the Twitters and the Twitches. I am streaming a lot, but most importantly, I started a new Monster of the Week game that's running for the next 2 weeks. You can catch the VOD on YouTube at some point because the sound is almost up. I have to fix that. But yeah, tonight I am playing Villiblom. She is the servant.
Hello, everyone. I'm Val, the Dragon's Crown, on Twitter and Twitch. You can find me here Thursdays through Sundays playing and or running games. Most notably, I run Neon Souls on Fridays and on Saturdays, alternating Saturday nights Star Power and Saturday nights Mistborn. And two of those three games I've been chastised by my players for choices that I've made as a GM. And I'm looking forward to seeing
Also,
how
as a
those turn out.
person.
As a person, I've done some very mean things, and I am very excited to see how they go and what my players do. So come join us for those throughout the week. And tonight, I will be playing Dr. Danni Madsen, who is the doctor.
Yay! That's our cast of characters. I'm trying to get my notes to pull up. Who needs them? Really? Who needs notes and recaps and shit? Not me. Definitely not me. There they go. All right. Let us begin. Y'all ready to play a game? Right. So, let's do a bit of a recap. Last time, because a lot happened, I would say, last time on Thursday's Children, the Society continued their investigation in Fjallbacka, the fishing-centric, herring specifically centric island chain, archipelago, if you will. They began last time by searching the large warehouse on Wrecker Isle for evidence of crime and found some. They discovered a golden crucifix necklace left behind by a large blood stain on the warehouse floor. And they also discovered they were being watched. Spooky. As Villy and Alina both noticed two figures outside the warehouse windows while the search ensued. After returning to the inn and being accosted to a degree by Pete and Pace Amundsen, the brothers of Zacharias Amundsen, sons of godmother Abella, the four were given an invitation to dinner the following evening with the Herring Baron himself. Villy and Alina, before turning in for the night, then performed a whole seance in Alina's room, reaching out to the deceased vicar successfully on Alina's part, using her mind powers and crystal ball, and all sorts of occult stuff. They reached out to the deceased vicar, gave them bits of information as he could, and pointed them towards a place called the Deep Reef, explaining that their questions could be answered there if they could find a way to get out that far. In the meantime, Tilda planted herself outside Danny's door to make sure they stayed in their room for the evening. They did not. After sneaking out the window, doing some solo investigating, Danny stumbled across a dead herring on the beach that spoke to them, warning them to watch the moon, Doctor. Spooked, Danny took the fish and returned to the inn to perform an autopsy, but discovered nothing out of the ordinary, although Tilda did get quite a good laugh out of the whole ordeal before finally taking it a bit seriously and wondering if they should watch the moon. The next day, the group found Orvar, the legend, the old local fisherman, and convinced him to take them to the island that Tilda had drawn after doing a bit of spirit channeling herself. He agreed to sail them out, though could not promise to return them to Wrecker Isle safely, and they set out across the water. And after they landed on the small, strange stone island, a woman appeared before them from the water with long green hair, webbed hands, finned ears, and a long, scaled, fish-like tail. And we're going to pick up right there as she exits the water, sort of shaking out her long hair, which you can see upon a bit closer inspection is less hair and more tentacle-like, sort of long pieces that are coming from her head with sort of the suckers on the inside. And she starts to say, "You're a day early." Stops, looks across all of you, and sort of props herself up more upright on one of the rocks, says, "Who are you? And where is my son?"
we shall be seeing him this evening. We came of our own accord.
Why?
I believe to speak with you. We were guided here.
By?
Well, I'm not entirely sure on my part. But a friend here, by a spirit.
And fish.
So, humans who can look upon my face and see it, that speak to spirits and fish.
Well, the fish spoke to me.
Yes, Doctor, thank you.
Just want to clarify. Don't make a habit of speaking with fish.
Single-minded humans, then.
I wouldn't say all of us.
I'm sure you wouldn't. Leave.
We shall. If before we take our leave, we could ask you just a few questions.
Regarding what?
Well, your place here.
You trespass on my home and ask me of my place.
We meant no offense. We only wish to learn.
Learn what?
We expected everybody. Well.
I believe we've heard some rumors that your son is this Zacharias? Is that true?
Are you friends of my son?
I haven't had that acquaintance yet.
Then I will answer nothing.
As I said, we shall be dining with him this evening.
And this concerns me how?
Well, we might not necessarily call him a friend now. We certainly shall after this evening.
I have one of you roll. Just thinking about it. Oh, let's have somebody roll manipulation.
Definitely should be me. That's my strong suit.
Sounds like Tilda.
Sure. Why not? That's pretty good. One success.
Okay. She looks across all of you again, again sort of straightening up, leaning on her forearms on the rock, straightening up a little bit, kind of shakes some of the water out of her hair. Well, I suppose if you came all this way.
Thank you.
Ask your questions.
There have been some deaths. I completely lost my accent, but there have been some deaths on the island. We have been told that they are sacrifices. Do you know anything about that?
Yes.
What do you know?
Humans die. All the time. Very easily so. Some of them are willing to cut their already short lives shorter for the good of the rest.
And what good is that?
This place was a bad home for the humans. For a very long time. They needed help, sustenance, a way to live their humble lives in a way that wasn't completely miserable. So I oblige. Humans are used to paying for services, and so we strike an arrangement.
So do they have to be given themselves willingly then?
One would hope.
But you're not the one who takes the lives.
No. They come here, or they're brought here, and they become one with the sea.
They have to come here for it.
Yes, they come to me. They die. Their energy, their spirits. It sustains the silver of the sea. Gives them more than they could ever eat.
And this is a magic that you do.
Yes.
And do you need them for it? Or could you do it on your own?
My powers are finite. Would not be sustainable forever. And why would I do this for free?
So do you receive something out of these sacrifices? They aren't just to power this magic?
It's mostly the magic. I can see the judgment on your friend's face. Thinking I should help the humans for nothing. But if I expend all my power and end my life to save theirs, what does that do for me? And what will it do for them when the fish run out? It's unsustainable alone. So the humans contribute. A few of them for all of them.
And this is upon every full moon?
Yes. The veil is thinnest then.
And does your son have similar abilities?
He has some power.
May I ask, as you are his mother, and yet he lives upon the land, is he partly human?
His father was a human.
I see. Is his father still around?
No. I have many children.
I see.
Just to make sure I understand from my notes, they provide a sacrifice to you once a month, fuels your magic, so you may provide the sustenance for the town through this herring. The nature of the sacrifice, are these willing participants, or
Most of the time.
right?
All that I require is that they be alive.
And what is the nature of the sacrifice? Do you consume them? Do you merely a shedding of blood, some sort of pagan ritual?
These are ancient magics you ask after.
I'm
Why?
merely curious. It's not something that I fully comprehend. Nor
They become
fully
one with
believe
the
in.
sea.
Some sort of transfiguration.
I do not expect you to understand.
Well, that is what
Okay.
I am precisely attempting to do. To understand.
Impossible.
I do not believe that is true.
Oh. All humans are entitled to their petty beliefs.
Now, see here, I'm trying to have a very cordial conversation.
Doctor, perhaps now is not the time.
Forgive me for my academic pursuits. I will wait over here then.
No. I wanted to come back to what you had said about them being alive. So they come here to you alive?
Yes, they come here or they are brought here. They are alive. Until they are not.
Are they perhaps shot?
I suppose they could be.
Was the last shot?
I see why you're here. You're friends of that man. With the collar.
Not friends, no. We simply wish to understand what happened.
And I suppose you will keep wishing.
Gathering that might be the last that we get of that. If I might ask one more question, not regarding any of this. I was guided here for another purpose. I was told something by a Vason. I asked where I might gather more information, and I was led to you. Would you know why that is?
No. You've told me very little.
It was a spirit. And it inhabited my friend here for a brief time.
I've known many spirits.
Those that tell portents?
Spirits do all sorts of things. Prophesize, annoy, haunt, play games.
Play games?
Yes. Many creatures of their sort are fond of playing games with humans. I'm sure they tell you all sorts of things.
So they might not have been portents, merely a game of some kind.
That is not for me to say. What did they tell you?
Well, give it up now. Yeah, we're doing it. As the thunder rolls above and the water fills your lungs, remember, outsider, that it was me.
And the spirit came to your friend.
Yes.
You.
Do I head over to Alina?
Alina, she turns to look at you.
Yeah.
Are you a conduit then?
I'm not sure.
Come here.
Okay. Walks over to her.
She pulls herself up a little bit and gets very close to you, sort of looks you directly in the eyes, almost like she's looking past you. Kind of tilts her head. You can see all manner of things. Yes?
Yep, that's true.
Here and there. In your world and the next.
Mm-hmm.
And who is your friend?
I'm not sure what you mean.
The one behind your eyes.
I don't have a friend there.
All right. She backs up. I do not know about what the spirit told you. Could be many things. There are many children of the sea, of the storms. There are many spirits all around you.
Thank you for your patience and answering our questions.
I expect to see my son tomorrow. If I do not, I'll find you.
Understood.
Will you be going now?
Yes, we will leave you.
Tell the fisherman not to return. He knows better. She turns and stretches out her arms, dives back into the water.
Shall we be going then?
I think so.
Are we all in agreement that that was some sort of creature?
Yes. Did you think it was something else, Doctor?
No, I just wish to confirm my findings.
I mean, we all have eyes. It's very obviously a mermaid.
Right. Mm-hmm. Certainly.
Mhm.
What else could it be?
Perhaps an oversized herring. As we now know
Perhaps.
that they can talk.
Perhaps some sort of mutation to the species.
Tilda
Being
quickly gets back
scribbling
on
in
the boat. Does not want to be on this probably alive, squishy, not rock anymore. Gets back on the boat very quickly.
All right. So you all get back in the boat. Head back to Wrecker Isle.
I think on the way, Billy like kind of pulls up to Alina and like kind of like opens her eyes a little bit. Just checking.
Is it because of what she said?
Don't see any creatures behind your eyes.
Don't know if it would be visible to you if it were there.
Well, you don't know. It's always good to check.
Of course.
Just ruffles her hair.
I believe we should discuss what we plan to accomplish at this meal tonight. Now that we have some amount of confirmation that Zacharias is in fact culprit.
Off the water. Sabby,
You would
are we still on the boat, or
You can be if you want to be.
I don't want to be.
You don't wanna be.
on the water.
Okay. Then real quick, one thing as you're sailing away, and then we'll get to back to the island. It's going to take you a couple hours to get back. Can I just get somebody to roll vigilance for me?
Tilda's not paying much attention anyway. She's
Yeah.
just sort of staring off into space after all of this.
I have a 6 in vigilance, so I could.
Yeah, probably good.
I think Danni is probably already like sketching in their journal like the basic like anatomy of this creature that they saw and trying to focus on the water. Well. Oh
Wanna
right, I
push?
saw this. I have a mental condition still, so that took away 1. Yikes. If I push, then I'm gonna be at 2 mental. Yeah, I'll push.
Okay.
Because it'd be interesting for Danny to also be frightened here.
Go for it.
Nope, 0 again.
Go ahead and mark the condition. Danny, you are, as Orvar sails the small fishing boat away from the island, you are startled as there's a screeching sound behind you as very suddenly a small flock of seagulls that were sort of scattered around the small island all suddenly screech and take off in sort of like a flapping of wings and feathers, and it frightens you. We turn around, you don't see anything. Danny continues to take notes. You take the next couple of hours to sail back to Wrecker Isle. It's now, I don't know, approaching lunchtime, perhaps? Where do you want to go to have this conversation?
I mean, nowhere seems safe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Probably our rooms. Like someone's room is going to be the safest. Or
Maybe the rooms have like a Victrola or something.
No. Damn. This is not a nice place. Okay, you can head back to the inn, back to one of your rooms, shut the door behind you, and keep an ear out while you quietly decide what you're going to do next.
When we leave the boat, can Tilda just say to Orvar, I'm assuming you probably wouldn't anyway, but it was recommended by the creature that you do not return there.
Or I'd sooner chop my leg off.
I assumed as much, but I wanted to do my due diligence. Thank you again for your help.
You're welcome.
So, we're back at the room now.
Whew.
Well, what are we going to do?
Surely we can find another way for magic to work without human sacrifice.
I don't know much about magic. Is it typically that flexible?
Oh no, I don't know much about it either.
Because if it follows the same reasons as science, every action has an opposite reaction. So I would imagine that in order to get the reaction you want, a certain action must be taken.
There is a
Therefore-
certain equivalent exchange, yes.
So I don't imagine you could get the same result offering something different.
If it's strong enough. There's lots of things stronger than death.
What? Such as?
Love? She loves her son. That could be something.
So you believe there was a strong enough familial bond between the two of them to perhaps dissuade her from this course of action?
Right, but I don't think that she's going to be... She said she wanted the sacrifices. She wanted payment.
Well, there is a certain pragmatism to what they're doing. Without the fish, then the whole town will likely starve itself out.
Right, if people can move. I just think that if they continue down this line, well, there's not that many people that live here anyways. They're going to have to keep giving until there's no one left. Once a month, that's 12 people a year. There's, I don't know, how many people live on this island?
On the island, not many. In the town itself, I mean, it's hard to say. It's not very big. Probably a few hundred people.
Well, mysticism aside, we do have a old-fashioned murder here to deal with.
Right.
So, perhaps we focus on that. Confirm that Zacharias is the culprit, have him arrested, and our case is solved.
Doctor, was there enough blood that we found on the ground to kill a person? Or do you think he was still alive when he went out to see her?
Well, I'd say from the gunshot wound that the gunshot was the cause of death. The blood on the ground, no, was not enough. So I think that indicated that he was shot somewhere else. Perhaps he was shot on the island and then his body was brought back here to dispose of.
Right, but
Or
why didn't
on
he go
the-
into the sea? We have a body. He was not sacrificed in that way, right?
I do not, as I was attempting to ascertain before, do not know how this sacrifice worked. Perhaps all she needed was the blood.
It's the spirit of the father himself.
Well, you spoke with the spirit, didn't you, Alina?
Mhm.
Did he feel close? Or I'm not certain how it works.
It's hard to say, but I don't believe we'd have a body from what she was saying if he had been sacrificed. And it's not even a full moon yet, so why would he be sacrificed?
Do we? How long ago was it that the body was found? Like, what's the time frame here?
The body was found. The body itself they found last week.
And good.
He was last seen alive a week before that.
So we're talking about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, definitely after the last full moon.
Mhm.
So the doctor was not one of the sacrifices.
Perhaps he found out about the sacrifices and tried to stop it.
Well, either way, they are planning on killing somebody else tonight.
Perhaps that's why we've been asked to dinner.
Almost certain it will be one of us. Or all of us, who knows?
Well, then we'll have our motive. Should he attempt to capture or injure any of us, then we are prime witnesses to the act itself.
Right? And who are we going to tell?
Well, I think at that matter, then reasonable self-defense would be justified.
And then we have a vengeful mermaid following all us around for the rest of our lives.
I was never fond of the ocean to begin with.
The country is nearly surrounded by it.
And I plan on staying very far away from it.
You know, she can't transform. She had a child with a human.
Well, again, reasonable self-defense. How do we defend ourselves against a mermaid?
Suppose firearms work pretty well in those situations.
That seems a bit mundane for what we're talking about.
Isn't that stooping to their level, though? Sacrificing one to save many.
Well, if she's
Only
trying
if-
to kill us.
I'd feel very justified if she tried to kill us first.
Right. I think the main thing that we should be thinking about is we've got to stop the sacrifices, yes? Are we all in agreement there?
Yes.
Because I assume people who are being sacrificed aren't always willing participants. She said it'd be better if they were, but that implies to me that most of them aren't.
Yes, I deduce the same. So we attend the dinner tonight, or at least some of us attend the dinner tonight, and see what happens.
So your plan is to not have a plan?
No, I think you're very well armed, Villy. You should be able to handle it, yes?
Of course.
Right.
Is there a good
Unless
place?
the whole staff is involved.
I was going to say, is there a good place to hide a firearm upon one's person where it would be difficult to find if one was searched? Billy?
Well, that all depends on what you're planning to wear.
Oh, probably this. I did bring one fresh skirt and a jacket.
Right? Well, if you keep it close to you, kind of looks over to Danny, in a place where no one's going to be searching.
Right. Might make it more difficult to draw, but all right.
Might
Guess I
lose a
can
few
work on
buttons in the process.
Right. Could work on additional pocket during the afternoon. All right.
Well, it seems like a reasonable plan then. I will stay here to continue my research, and you all attend dinner.
You're not coming to the dinner?
I see no reason to bother myself with that.
So you'd rather
Doctor.
stay out of danger while the rest of us go in.
Doctor is very busy. I'm sure that all of the research that they need to be doing on...
I'm sorry, Doctor.
Many
whether
things.
or not it's actually true, I believe these people, for the most part, seem to think you as the leader of this group, which I find laughable. However, that is how it is viewed. So for you to not attend this dinner would be seen as the height of disrespect. And these people are already more than likely going to attempt to kill us all. So perhaps we don't give them that extra incentive from the word go.
Well, that is a fair point. The other being, as the chief physician of this group, it would be best for me to stay out of harm's way so that I could tend to any wounds as they arise. So,
Of course. And as
You're
you said,
afraid.
I can she kind of just looks at Alina. I can handle the fighting if anything comes up. I can make sure you are all safe. And I think it'd be best if you're there, just in case I get harmed in that.
Fine, I'll attend the dinner.
I should make sure that everything is prepared properly and without any tranquilizers or anything as such.
Yes.
That's how I do it.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I must prepare for the evening then.
Right. Would you like me to lay out your suit for you?
No, I can take care of it myself.
Sure.
I think I'll go to my room as well.
Pocket to create.
Do you need any
Should be in
help?
my room. No, I think I have a good idea. Thank you.
All right. Perhaps I'll fetch some tea then.
Thank you, Billy.
Go find some tea.
Okay.
Make a gun pocket.
Go find some tea.
Gun pocket.
Make a gun pocket. Anything else anybody's doing in the meantime? Everyone's doing something. Great. I love these days. Y'all up to some shady shit. Okay. Villy, you go to get some tea. Have some tea made for everyone. Bring it around to the rooms. Is there anything else you'd like to do in the meantime?
I think that depends on what I find in the rooms.
Okay. We'll come back to you. Tilda, you're going to add a pocket to your clothing to hide a gun in.
More like she intends to hide the gun, like probably either on her torso or very high up on her thigh, and just would like an additional pocket so that she can easily access it without it being very visible.
Okay. Gonna have you roll.
Sure. Why not?
Gonna have you roll. Hold on, let me make up some bullshit. I'm gonna have you roll stealth to be able to hide it successfully because stealth uses precision.
Okay.
And I think this is a pretty precise bit of sewing that you're gonna have to do to hide a whole gun.
All right.
Guns were not super small
Nope.
or light.
Nope.
Let's do stealth.
Nope. 0 successes.
You do this sewing work. It takes you a fair amount of the afternoon. You redo it a couple of times. It's not perfect. It's a little bulkier than you would like. But if you hold yourself the right way, you're cognizant of it, you can sort of keep your skirts bunched to one side. Unless somebody inspects it very closely, you could probably get away with it for a little bit.
Okay. Yes, she's going to.
Okay. Alina.
Alina's gonna step into her room, put a chair by the door, as she does. And she's gonna kind of look around, and then out loud she goes, "Hello? Are you there?"
There is silence in the room for a moment. before you hear a very, very quiet, almost a whisper response, sort of like somebody is standing right behind you, speaking to you. You just hear, "Hello."
Oh, haven't heard from you in a while.
You've been busy.
It's true. I was wondering, you know some things about magic, yes?
Some things.
Right. Do you know if there's anything more powerful than human sacrifice?
Many things, I'm sure. Humans tend to be small-minded.
As do mermaids, apparently.
I liked her.
Me too. Except for the whole, sacrificing people to the ocean, but, well,
Everyone does what they must.
just wondering if we can offer a better option.
What do you think?
I think there must be a better option. It'd be odd if there's only one way to increase power, and it's something like that.
What do humans have that are powerful? Other than their lives. Which, in the grand scheme of things, are very small.
Well, humans have connection, free will. Things that are difficult to give up, but
Free will. I suppose you could give that up to something like a mermaid. They can do all kinds of things. But is that better than what's happening now?
suppose it isn't.
Humans have a lot of feelings.
I recommended love. I don't know if you would necessarily need to give that up, but use it.
Channel it somehow.
Exactly.
That's nice.
I thought so.
How do you do that?
Do what?
Well, I suppose you'd have to channel it into something more physical than the form it takes now. How do you control love like that?
You never seen anyone do that?
I've seen people channel anger, fear, not love, not really. But I suppose you could try.
Well,
Unwillingly given is powerful.
It's true. I personally think that may be a better alternative to what's happening here, but I suppose it would be difficult to convince anyone else of that. And then there's the question of if it works at all.
Well, it can't hurt to try.
Exactly.
You're always trying something new.
Well, there's a lot of new things going on since I met you.
Yes. You should try.
Right. Well, I'll try not to just call on you when I need something. Maybe we can. Oh no, do you taste tea when I drink it?
Yes,
Well, then we can have tea sometime.
that sounds nice.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome, Alina.
Do I still not have a name to call you?
I'm sure you'll find one.
Thank you. Again.
Goes quiet.
She's just gonna sit on her bed, pull out a book, and start pretending to read it while she thinks.
Okay. Danny.
Yeah.
What do you want to get up to?
So I was thinking we have these mementos that we can use to clear a condition, I believe, if we interact with them.
Yes.
Danny has some sheet music. So I was wondering if there might be like a piano in the inn, like downstairs, that Danny might be able to use.
Yeah, sure. I'll say in one corner of that big main room there is an old
Or a
slightly
glockenspiel.
yeah, something like that. An old sort of slightly out of tune keyed instrument
Yeah.
of some sort.
I think Danny has like went to their room and kind of like wandered around, like just paced back and forth for a while, just freaking out about all of this. And then finally, like, the room wasn't big enough for their pacing, so went downstairs and started to go over to the bar, maybe got a drink, and saw the piano, and has just kind of slowly made their way over to it, finally like hitting a few keys, grimacing at how out of tune it is, and then sits down at the piano and pulls out from their bag a, like, I think it's in a almost like a map case or something. It's just like rolled up in there. Takes it out, places it on the headboard, and then starts to slowly and kind of quietly play.
Okay. Yeah, so you can use them to heal one condition. Can be either physical or mental. I think both of yours are mental.
Yes.
So you sit and play for a while, quietly, a sort of soothing tune that rings out right around you in the inn. And I think you're able to focus on that and use that enough to calm down some of those real intense, like, inner nerves that you're dealing with right now. Which one do you want to get rid of?
I was gonna say frightened.
So now you're just angry.
Now I'm just angry.
It makes sense. The piano's out of tune. It's very frustrating.
That's their secret, GM. They're always angry.
I think plays that, drinks a couple of scotches, trying to calm down, and is like the fear kind of survive, like kind of plays the music to sort of write their thoughts a little bit and try to like justify some of these things, like dealing with magic and mermaids and all of that, just trying to focus on trying to write everything. I think in playing the music, kind of comes to the conclusion of, it's just a creature. We can deal with that. Bleeds, we can kill it.
Okay.
Can Tilda come down having heard the music?
Sure. Yeah, you can make your way out into the main room. I'll also, Villy, I think you have a couple of opportunities here. I want to know how you react to these things. You bring Tilda her tea. She's sewing. Not doing as well as you would do it, but she's doing it.
All right. I think just in passing of the tea, and smiling. I think probably once Tilda leaves the room to go listen to the music, she's gonna go fix it.
Okay, so you wait a little bit until you see Tilda make her way out into the main bar room of the inn, where you've seen Danni sitting at the piano playing. You hurry into her room. I'm gonna have you roll. What did I make Tilda roll? Stealth.
Stealth?
Yeah, we'll do stealth.
Okay.
That as well.
Because this is something that I probably do on a regular basis, as far as like fixing things, do I get any bonuses for that? It's part of me job.
It is part of your job.
Because it could be like, as far as the like sewing portion goes, maybe not necessarily where it is. It could be more of like I guess agility is more like, I was thinking of it more of like dexterity, like fine motor skills, but
yeah, you know what? I buy that.
Solid.
You can roll agility instead.
Force does allow you to endure hardship, and I would argue that maybe seeing this is the greatest hardship. For Billy.
It's real bad. Like real bad. Like the outside of the skirt is okay, but the inside is just a mess.
It's been a while there.
Okay, that's yes, that's enough to counteract what Tilda.
The hack job that Tilda
completely undoes everything and then redoes it.
She essentially redoes the entire thing. Okay. Yeah, you quickly and dexterously undo what Tilda has done, and sew it back in properly. Fold it back up. Leave it where you found it.
And go bring and probably the tea is still warm as she gets to Alina's room. Yeah.
You make your way down the hallway, and I think you probably hear, I don't think you can make out any of it, but probably you catch her just on the very tail end, like the very, very end of this conversation. So you just hear her in there. It sounds like she's talking to herself.
Just a knock on the door.
Come in.
Come in with the tray.
Well, you go to open the door and it doesn't open because there's a chair leaning up against it.
Oh, one moment. Moves the chair. Opens the door. Hello.
Hello. Set the tea down on the desk or the table, whatever they have in the room. Were you nervous about something?
No.
No, you just had a chair in front of the door for no reason.
Oh no, I just find that it's more comfortable since there's not really locks on the door.
Right. Okay. Are you okay?
Yes, why?
It's been a trying day.
I suppose.
Storm, and then the creature looking into your soul.
Yes, well that part wasn't that bad.
No? right? Just sometimes when you talk to yourself, I get nervous.
Oh, well, I think everyone should talk to themselves.
Right, but usually I do it in my head.
I find if I do it out loud, it's more comforting. It's like someone else is here with me.
All right. Is there anything you needed to talk about since I'm here?
If you were going to use something to channel and enhance your love for someone, what would you choose?
Like a physical thing?
Yes.
I think something that meant a lot to me about that person. Like you, for instance. If I wanted to channel my love for you, I might pick up one of your handkerchiefs or one of your hair bows. Something that I've helped you with, or I made for you, or something that you've given me.
That's a good thought. Thank you.
Are you thinking about what you told the mermaid on the island?
Yes.
A different kind of sacrifice. Is that something that would work?
I believe so.
I mean, it's not like she's eaten them. At least not that she said. So she doesn't need it for sustenance. I don't suppose. I don't think it'd be too much out of the question to make the sacrifice something physical, not a person.
Who says it needs to be a sacrifice? She only needs something that keeps her magic strong and going instead of burning her out. So
More of a gift or a payment.
Mhm.
Well, we can try. But first, we need to make it through dinner. I think that's going to be the difficult part.
Well, we shall see.
Do you want to stay back?
Why?
Well, I'd rather see you safe, and I suppose, what are you intending to add to the conversation?
I don't know if I intend to add anything rather than just to listen, but I'm not the doctor. I don't intend on staying behind.
Right. I just want to make sure that you're safe. It's my job.
It's not really your job anymore, though, is it?
Maybe not technically. But it's something I'd like to do, if you don't mind.
Well, I appreciate it.
Been looking after you since you were a wee little thing. Can't blame me.
No, I suppose I can't.
The doctor's playing music downstairs. Do you want to join him?
No, that's the doctor playing.
Yeah.
It's far too
Sometime.
pretty.
Well, I think they only have one sheet music that they bring with them, so...
Oh, well, let's go downstairs then.
I'll bring the tea.
You bring the tea. I'll say at this point, Tilda, obviously you've already made it down and out into the bar. It's the middle of the day. There are still a lot of people here. It's not packed like it is at night, but there are still several people sitting around eating, drinking, and in one corner is Danni drinking a scotch, which is probably not going to help with the anger part, and playing the piano.
I think as Tilda, Danny doesn't see Tilda enter at first, and then when they finally notice her, there's like a slight pause to the music, and then it just continues. Danny tries to focus, hoping she doesn't approach and try to talk.
She won't for a moment. She'll just listen.
And I think it's not a song that. Sorry, I was listening to music change. It's not a song that you would recognize because it is sheet music from a forgotten master. And you're not sure if it's just because the piano's out of tune, but it's a slightly melancholy melody.
I've never heard this piece.
I doubt you would have. I believe
Why
this
is
might
that?
be the only copy.
Oh. All right then.
It's nothing that special. It's not even very complicated. I'm not very skilled a pianist.
Do you mind if I try?
Certainly. Scoots over.
Tilda went to a rather fine school once she got shipped off there. So she actually plays the piano quite well. So she'll take a look, like play it out like by sight a couple times, pick up on the patterns, and then she'll just play out the whole tune. Huh. Ooh, this instrument is wildly out of tune, but it's nice.
Around this
Sad.
time, Billy and Alina come in from the other part of the inn, and you see Danny and Tilda sitting at the piano playing together.
You've had some training.
Yes, almost 12 years.
I had a few tutors growing up, but I was never very interested in learning.
Oh, I had no choice. Sometimes that's the best way to learn an instrument, or so I'm told.
Let's take this table by the corner. Give them their space.
Okay.
Sneak over to the corner.
If you tell anyone I said this, I'll deny it. But, I apologize for my comments earlier.
Which ones? You might need to be more specific.
Oh, don't do that. I've no intention of leaving you all to face this alone. I've merely suffering from some minor shock I have diagnosed in myself that may be onset from the recent exposure to phenomenon I did not previously acknowledge.
You were upset by the fish talking to you, aren't you?
Yes. If you wish to be blunt about it.
That's generally the easiest way. Get right down to it.
Yes, that was the beginning of all of this. And then the mermaid being second. The fish I could have possibly...
Explained away.
Yes, malnutrition, some sort of hallucinogenic, perhaps even a release of gases from the decomposition of the fish, creating the phenomenon of speech.
Do you ever realize that sometimes you spend more time and energy trying to explain these things away than it would to just come to terms with them?
Well, I am nothing if not professional, and I am a person of science, so I must do my best to disprove hypotheses when alternatives are far more likely.
Whatever is easier for you. I think she takes out like a pencil. If you turn that into sharp, turn that across the board, bring that down. Yes. I think it'd be far happier that way. And let's give it a try. She'll play it out, and she'll like tweak slightly with the tonality of the piece. So some things that like went down a step here and there, like a half step, she'll bring it up a little bit. So it's not necessarily like a major key by any means, but slightly less melancholy.
You do understand you just defaced one of my most precious possessions.
I have an erasable if that would
It's
make
fine.
you feel better.
Sounds better that way.
Perhaps a nice allegretto. Just like
Oh, too much. Takes the music. You seem to have memorized this anyway.
All right then, fine.
I believe we have work to do. It seems we've drawn a crowd.
Oh. We'll be here all week. Tip your staff? Oh, thank you. Well then.
Yes. Danny stands up. Adjusts themselves. And like nothing happened. Heads over to the table where the others are sitting.
Well, hello, Doctor.
Are we prepared?
I think so.
Good.
Is there
Well,
anything you'd be needing?
No. I am quite ready.
Wonderful.
Well, come on, Tilda. We don't have all day.
Tilda has already gone upstairs to get dressed. She's not even there.
Oh. She's already gone. Never mind.
Okay. You sit there in awkward silence. Tilda, you go back through the door to the extension where the rooms are. And you find your things where you left it. Well, you find the skirt is notably less bunched than it was before. The stitches are quite straight. You don't remember doing this well. Maybe you did.
Did Villy leave the tea in here?
Probably.
And there's a cup of tea sitting nearby.
Breathes in again, thinking some sort of vase and like, you know, the cobbler and the
It's
elves.
like haunted by a gnome.
Yes, or something.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
Gnomes.
Oh, it's all right. Yeah. She'll put on her new fantabulous skirts with the gun pocket, and strap her firearm to herself, and yeah, put on a little more lipstick.
All right. Fix yourself up, put on the new skirts, and make your way back down to reunite with the rest of the party. Anything else that you would like to do before you head to dinner?
Billy puts on her maid outfit.
Okay.
Assuming Danny still has it, they tuck the gun that Billy has lent to them into their medical bag.
Tilda is bringing the camera.
Okay.
So I fully intend to ask Mr. Amundsen for an interview during dinner, as they are quite the businessman. Does that seem all right with everyone?
Seems reasonable.
Yes, of course. Is there anything I should be looking for while I'm attending?
I suppose anything that connects Zacharias to the vicar. Bloody shirt or the pistol.
Right. Perfect.
I would just like to make sure that anything that I eat or drink in this dinner is not, I don't know, poisoned in some way.
Well, I'll make sure that they're preparing it in front of me.
Wonderful. Should we eat? I mean, should we just pantomime or perhaps break up the food and push it around our plates a little bit? Is that too much?
That would likely be the safest course of action.
Or eat as little as possible.
Well, if it's a strong enough toxin, it wouldn't really matter.
Again, I'll keep an eye on things.
How about when dinner is served, Villy, if anything seemed untoward or was not perhaps prepared in your view, you could give us a bit of a signal. That way we can know whether to actually eat or not.
Right.
Perhaps a yes would be that it's all right to eat, and a no is not, and we can pantomime.
Of course.
All right.
Doctor,
Yes?
I know you're very good in conversation when it comes to formal events. I would sorry, how would I say this? I don't know how to say this without being an asshole.
Then be an asshole.
Well, no, because Billy wouldn't be an asshole. Perhaps just when you're speaking with him, keep the Vaesen out of it and keep as much close to the vest as possible.
So that I understand, you're warning me against discussing supernatural occurrences at dinner.
Yes.
Right, because I am far above most likely here to discuss such things in a public manner.
Right.
Well then.
This was completely random, but rules.
Rules.
I have no idea.
Yeah, me either. I'm vaguely remembering because Danni still has a condition, right?
Yes.
One.
Yes.
If two folks have a scene and like utilizing everything, you can like roll inspiration to try and help or alleviate something. Am I remembering that? in some way?
To heal a mental condition. Da 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 da. It's You use inspiration in a safe space while having a close dialogue to heal 3 conditions per success for someone else. It takes a full day.
Dang it. Okay.
So I don't. When did you
that
get
wouldn't have
the
qualified.
condition?
Angry. I got it the night before.
Yeah.
I got it the night we were doing
Yeah,
the
so
investigating.
a full day would also have to have passed.
So is that like we have to spend a whole day together, or is just something has to happen within and a day has to pass?
Something has to happen within that day that has passed, but it takes a full day to get over them.
Danny's still angry till they get a full night's sleep, like a cranky baby.
Makes sense.
Cranky baby. Okay. Never mind.
Before we go, Alina's just gonna go up to Tilda, put her hand, like take one of her hands, and cast Blessing.
Magic. Tell us what it
What is
do.
that?
It just like feels like warmth just floods into Tilda, but there's nothing physical or visual that you can see.
What was that?
Oh, I just thought you might need some extra protection.
Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And Sid now gets the Blessed Advantage, which adds +2 to a test of their choice.
Oh, dang.
And it
Okay.
expires upon use or when the mystery is over. So if you don't use it this session, I believe you can use it another one.
Yes, until the end of the
What was
mystery.
that? Thank you.
So yeah, a free advantage essentially.
So +2 dice to
Yes.
any- Nice. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Hoist the camera. Shall we?
Let's.
Okay. Tilda hoists up the camera. You all grab your things, your bags if you have them, and you make your way out of the inn and down the beach toward the Amundsen residence. And I think that is an excellent time for us to go ahead and take a quick break. So, thank you everybody for hanging out with us so far. I can't say that any of this is where I saw this going, but I'm loving it. I'm a big fan, and I'm honestly glad I didn't prepare them much. Because I don't think I would have used it. Yeah, we're going to take a quick break to refresh ourselves, get a snack, get a drink, stretch, take your meds if you take those at night, do whatever it is you need to do. We will be back in a short few minutes to see what happens next. So stick around. And welcome back, Internet. Thank you for hanging out with us during our break. We are refreshed, and we've had drinks and snacks, and we've stretched, and we're ready to go. And some of us forgot our water again. Damn it. It's fine. No.
I refilled
Okay.
my Coke. I just didn't grab my water.
My
out of the
water
living room.
bottle.
Whoops.
I forgot my water bottle. Well, some of us are responsible adults. I don't know. Not me, but some of us.
Val, I think your room is haunted. How did that get there?
There's a basin.
There's
I
a
somehow got
basin.
my water too.
Thank you.
Oh no, now I unsynced again.
We're gonna have to let
Billy's
Elsie
been
sing for us once
evasive
again.
this whole
Okay.
time.
I'm gonna
Oh,
stop doing jokes and bits when I come back because it implodes the entire stream every time. Okay. So,
That door.
LB, can you hear us? Okay, great. So we don't have to go through that debacle again. I love it. Okay. We're going to pick back up where we left off. The four of you have made your way down the beach to the door of the Amundsen estate. I feel like I'm going to sneeze.
Are you supposed to look into a light or like
Into
No,
a light. I feel like a
into a light.
monitor counts.
Directly
Okay.
into the light.
As we irresponsibly look directly into lights that we shouldn't. You make your way to the front door of the large wooden building on the other side of the warehouse. You knock and you are greeted by what's her name? You are greeted by a housemaid who opens the door, smiles. She has like pale skin, freckles, blonde hair that's pulled back in a braid. Relatively young. She's probably like mid-20s. In a standard sort of housemaid's uniform. She smiles. She greets you with a little curtsy and says, welcome. Are you the guests that are here for dinner?
Yes, we had an invitation from Mr. Amundsen. Zachariah
Of course.
Amundsen.
Of course. He'll receive you in the study. If you'll follow me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She leads you into the house. The house, which is much nicer on the inside than it is on the outside. On the outside, it's almost looks a little cobbled together. Like the second floor sort of doesn't quite match the first floor. It's made of different kinds of wood, but the inside is very nice. It's well lit. There's lanterns on the walls. There are very nice sort of rugs and runners throughout the foyer, and she leads you down through sort of large living room that is very nicely furnished. A couple of the pieces are like a little mismatched, but on their own they're all very nice. And through a large wooden door into a study. There are bookshelves lining the walls. There's a large desk sort of set off to one side. There's a cabinet with a glass front with all sorts of like glass, like liquor bottles and stuff on the inside, and crystal glasses sitting around. And she leads you in, sort of directs you to some of the cushioned chairs that are around the room, and smiles again, says, can I get you anything while you wait?
I think we are fine at the moment. Villy, you wished to help attend to the meal this evening?
Yes, of course. Where could I help set up?
Oh, of course. I can take you down to the kitchen.
That'd be wonderful, thank you.
Great. And what was your name?
Villy.
Billy. Nice to meet you. I'm Laura. If you need anything, I'm your girl.
Thank you, Laura.
And she turns, and Villy leads you out of the room, down the hall, and around to the kitchens. It's not a super large kitchen, but it's well equipped. There are like 3 other serving staff in here that are sort of bustling around, starting to make dinner. Smells like fish in here. I'm sure everyone is shocked at this revelation. There's smells of fish and salt, but also sort of a broth that is cooking and different things. And so she shows you in, and just says, "Can I point you to anything?"
No, I just like to double check everything before it goes out, just because my masters have some specific tastes. Are you the housekeeper?
Yes.
Right. And is there a butler I should be attending or asking as well?
No, just me.
Right. And no, I think that just like I said, they're a bit particular, so if you want to run anything out there to them, just you can ask me and we won't have any embarrassing situations.
Of course, I understand. Right. City folk.
Mm. Is there any menu I should know about?
Sure. We've got it all pinned up right here on the wall. And she shows it. There's like a piece of parchment essentially that's just been pinned in a couple of places with a list of courses. They are many and all herring based. So she goes through those with you, and then sort of points to just a little listing at the bottom. It says, of course, we got plenty of kinds of drink to wash it down, water, bit of juice if anyone likes that sort of thing, and plenty of liquor. So
wonderful. Is there any wine that they'll be having?
Well, I can bring up a couple of bottles from the cellar.
That might be best. I think that's more the sort that they enjoy.
All right. Red or white?
Red would be fine. Though with the fish, do you think a white would be a good pairing?
Well, it's hard to say based on the dish. Typically, I know with seafood, you'd probably do a white, but some of the herring has a very particular flavor. So some people like to do a red. You know, it's a bit more, it's a bit robust for a fish.
Indeed. Yes, then a red. Let me think. Is there anything I need to know about your master before attending?
The Baron, what do you want to know?
Is there anything I should avoid doing or saying? Don't want to offend him.
Oh, he's not an easily offended man. He's very kind. Likes to, invite over newcomers to the island, treat them to dinner, as such, that kind of thing. I suppose just keep to the ground floor of the house. Upstairs is mostly the bedrooms and his a smaller office up there for bookkeeping and things. So
perfect. Do you have guests quite often then?
Oh, quite regularly. Yeah, the Baron, he likes to host small dinner parties and things. His mother and brothers will be here as well, so they'll be joining us.
That sounds quite nice. We don't get a lot of visitors at the house.
That's unfortunate. I do like these kinds of parties.
Me too.
It's much more fun than dusting.
Agreed. I'll get to work on testing the food if that's all right.
Of course. I'll go fetch some wine.
Thank you.
She hurries off. Let's see. While they're preparing dinner,
are you set to like test the food? Are you gonna like taste test everything, Villy, and see if you die?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only
Great.
option I have right now.
Good.
Villy!
This is good. This is a good plan that I like. Go ahead and roll vigilance for
There's a
me.
big flaw with this plan, but I'll just see if Billy figures it out.
What if I die?
You'll die in the kitchen. None of us will know. And we all get our food.
One success, and I have a banked success as well.
Okay.
If I need
I think
it to be higher.
no, I think the one is enough. You keep an eye as the food preparations are happening. It's not that difficult to. Again, it's not that big of a room. There's only a couple of them that are preparing the food. But on watching, you don't see anything that's going into the food that would be out of the ordinary. I mean, you're familiar enough with like cooking and stuff, especially like with seafood. It's not anything like fancy or anything you're unfamiliar with. It's pretty standard fare for the most part. It's nice. But yeah, you don't catch anything with the food that is out of the ordinary.
Cool. And again, if I watch the chef test something, like taste something, a soup or something like that, I'm not gonna eat it. But like if there's something that is like, I guess the fish would be harder to like. Are they serving it full?
One of the courses is sort of a full like baked herring.
Right.
Head still attached. Love it.
Yeah. Be a little difficult to but I'll ask like what went in it and that sort of thing, like being picky.
Okay. Yeah. You ask a lot of questions. You watch the head cook pretty closely. And they I think they don't say anything, but I think you can tell that after a while, a couple of them are like, all right, come on, like leave me alone, let me cook. But there's a little bit of eye rolling as you turn away and stuff, but nothing too bad. It's more of just a like, all right, you're getting on my nerves now.
Cool. Good.
A little bit later, well, a few minutes into this, Laura returns with a couple of bottles of wine. Sort of goes in a cabinet on one side of the room, pulls out some glasses, puts them on a tray with the bottle, and takes it out of the room, presumably toward the study, where we will go now. The other three of you have a few minutes alone while Laura is showing Billy around the kitchen and such. It is about 5 minutes or so. Is there anything you would like to do before she comes back?
Camera.
Okay, you set up the camera.
What kind of room are we in? Is this like a sitting room? Is this
It's a study. It's set up like an office. So it's mostly like bookshelves. There's a liquor cabinet on one side. There's a big desk. But you're sort of in like a seating area, kind of like a nook, like a reading nook. There's like a few cushioned chairs.
Perfect. Danny's gonna snoop.
Okay.
I did want to look on the bookshelves too.
You criminals. Okay. Go ahead and roll. Whoever is snooping, please. Oh, God, I gotta learn the skills. I'm thinking investigation.
Okay.
Let me double check myself before I tell you that. The skills. Investigation to search a room. Perfect. Investigation. Yeah. Sometimes your instincts are right, kids.
Oh my god.
How many dice between the two of us did we roll? Let's count. 1, 2, 3,
nothing.
6 for me. 1, 2, 3, 4,
seven for
the
Danny.
Doctor. Nothing.
And you get nothing.
Not a single success.
And can I roll investigation?
Sure.
I hope she gets like 4. Like all 6s.
And she does.
Alina's looking for something specific.
Okay.
She wants to find if there's anything in the house that connects the mermaid mom to her son.
Okay.
She's just kind of like not going to take the crystal ball out of her bag, but kind of like peek at it.
Okay. Yes, Doctor.
I do have well, she rolled 2. I do have 2 potential arguments that could get me maybe a couple more dice that I didn't think about before I made the roll.
Okay.
1, I have my magnifying glass.
Okay.
Which gives me +1 to investigation. 2,
Sure.
I have an advantage for studied the history and geography of the archipelago. So, my thought process is that anything that might be out of ordinary from what I would expect by somebody that is like living in the archipelago or like anything that would be like anachronistic to this library based on what I understand of this region's history and geography.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Oh, wait, I can't get another advantage for investigation because I already used an advantage for the investigation, didn't I? For
You're
gunshot
the
wound.
that was medicine the last time. I thought.
No, I used it because I used medicine in the last mystery. So I guess that's the question.
Oh, I misunderstood the question.
I can use an advantage for the same stat in the same mystery, but I can't use an advantage for the same stat in the next mystery.
Yeah, so the advantage is tied to one particular stat for this mystery. So it's investigation for this one. If you can explain how you use it while you're making that specific roll, you can use it more than once during the mystery. It's just that in the next mystery, if you gain an advantage, it can't be for investigation. It's got to be for something else.
Okay. So I had an advantage for studying the gunshot wound, which is tied to investigation for this mystery. Can this one also be tied to investigation?
Say that again.
I had 2 advantages for this mystery. One was
Yes.
studying the gunshot wound, which I used when investigating the body.
Yes.
Can I also have this one be for investigation too?
Yeah, as long as it's within the same mystery.
Okay.
It just can't be in the next mystery. You have to pick something else.
Okay. So I can roll 3 more dice.
Okay, go ahead.
Nope.
Nothing. All right. Tilda and Danny, you look around. You look through the books. It's pretty standard fare. Nothing that really sticks out to you. Danny, most of the drawers on the desk are locked. The ones that are not, you open. There's some pretty standard like accounting paperwork in there. It mostly looks like Zacharias is keeping the books for the inn for like liquor sales and stuff. So he's got that. But you look through it, it seems above board, pretty standard, nothing strange. Alina, you search around the room. Are you all staying in the study, or are you wandering?
I think Alina will wander if the crystal ball tells her to.
Okay. Yeah, Alina, you look down and you sort of focus in, sort of watching where you're going, looking down at the crystal ball every now and then. And you notice as you approach the what direction it is, you approach one of the walls of the study, and this small like bluish green glow starts to form in the center of the crystal ball. And as you move away from the wall, it sort of shrinks down again.
Pulls it out, holds it out to the wall.
You hold it out to the wall, and as you do, the glow sort of gets a little bit bigger. You look around, you just see like a bookshelf with books on it, but you do know there is another room on the other side of this wall. So if you would like, you can leave the study.
I'll be right back.
Of course. Yes, it would be good to know where the lavatory is.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. Goodbye.
Of course.
Right. You make your way around, sort of following the crystal ball. The room next to it is indeed like a small water closet, as it were, and the glow gets brighter as you move around the room. You sort of find one spot where it gets pretty bright, and then as you move away from it, it starts to dim again. So you take the ball out, sort of hold it up, and as you raise it up out of the bag and sort of in an upward direction, the glow starts to get even brighter.
Up? Should I look up? I'm gonna look up. Is it just ceiling?
It's just ceiling.
Is there an
There's a
upstairs
second
to the
floor.
house? Yeah. Gonna wander out of the lavatory and go upstairs.
I love it when you guys wander. It's very fun to me. Yeah, you quickly sort of wander, looking around. There's nobody currently in the hallways. Pretty much everyone is in the kitchen. You wander upstairs, sort of following the glow that's getting like progressively like brighter and brighter in the ball, and you come to a door where almost the whole ball at this point is sort of filled with this like sort of sea green, like bluish green glow. You open the door and you find yourself in a dressing room, sort of like a small offshoot of like whatever bedroom is nearby. There are a couple of wardrobes. There is a vanity with a mirror and lots of stuff sort of scattered across it. You can see like a big thing of like pomade for hair. There's some combs, like all sorts of things. And you follow the ball and you make your way over to the vanity. You look through and one thing catches your eye. There is a pretty large bottle, about this big, sort of like can sized, that looks to be filled with, well, and smells to be, you can smell it, a very strong perfume. But the bottle itself is made from like sea glass.
Ooh. Just gonna tuck it into my bag.
Okay, you take the sea glass perfume bottle, tuck it into your bag, and as you do, there is one sort of like pulse of light from the ball, and it starts to sort of fade away.
Gonna put the ball back in my bag too and go back downstairs.
Okay, you make your way back downstairs, back around to the study, shutting the door behind you. And not a moment later, the door opens again, and you see Laura, who enters with a tray and a wine bottle and 4 glasses. Sort of sets it on a table nearby. Says, "Would anyone like something to drink?"
Sure. Is that Oh, you're opening a new bottle for us. That's so kind.
Well, of course.
Yes, please. I would love a glass.
Anyone else?
No, I am fine, thank you.
I'll have one.
All right. And she uncorks a new bottle of wine, pours out 3 glasses, serves 2 of you the wine, and then sort of as she lifts up the 3rd, you hear the door behind her open again, and you all turn to see a man enter the study. I have art of him because he rules.
Is he pretty?
Let me pull up his stuff. But
Most important question: is he
Yes.
romanceable?
Everyone is romanceable if you go about it the right way.
Yes.
So a man you can only assume to be Zacharias Amundsen enters the room. He is a very attractive, sort of muscular man in his like early 40s. He is dressed in a very expensive looking suit. He has dark wavy hair that's sort of combed back and styled into place with pomade. He has a large mustache that is just waxed to perfection. curled up a little bit on the ends. And let me show you guys this guy because he rules. He's in a handout in the Roll20 game. It says the Herring Baron. You can all look upon him. But he walks in, he smiles. I think it hits you first, Alina, because you recognize it. He smells very heavily of perfume as he walks into the room, but he gives everybody sort of a grand smile, greets you all and says, sorry to have kept you all waiting.
Not at all. Thank you so much for the invitation, Miss Tomlinson.
Of course. Any newcomer to the island deserves a rousing good welcome, I think.
I will not disagree with you there. We very much appreciate it.
Where are my manners, he says, as Laura brings the glass of wine to him. He holds it in one hand, sort of reaches a hand out to whoever is right in front of him. Zacharias Amundsen. And what are your names? Alina?
Tilda, pleasure to meet you.
Miss Tilda. And you are?
Dr. Danni Manson.
Dr. Madsen. Well, a pleasure to meet you all. Welcome to the archipelago, and specifically to Wrecker Isle. I've been trying to get them to change the name for about 20 years. It hasn't stuck, but I'll toast to trying again.
Cheers.
Quite.
And he sips some wine.
Watch him do it first. Wait a moment. Take a nice sip.
So, please sit. Dinner should be ready soon. We'll join my family. Is it just the three of you?
Oh,
I've brought my servant
Villiblom.
along as well.
Of course, I assume they're about somewhere.
Yes. They tend to keep
Wonderful.
themselves busy.
Wonderful. Well, sit. I'm sure dinner will be ready soon. I see you've brought quite the bit of equipment with you. He gestures to the camera.
Not to impose upon your goodwill so quickly, but I will say I do have a slightly ulterior motive for agreeing to your dinner request. I am a bit of a writer, and you being one of the foremost business people within this particular area, I was hoping we might get to a teensy bit of an interview at some point this evening.
Well, I don't see why not. We've got a few minutes. I can give a bit of an interview to a bit of a writer.
Why, thank you. Appreciate it.
Ask away.
Would you mind so much if I were to get just a photograph of you here at your desk, perhaps?
Of course. He stands up, straightens his jacket, leaves his wine glass on the table, goes and sits behind the desk, just like leans on one elbow, like just I'm a businessman, but I'm a little casual, sort of thing. Is this all right?
Oh, that is lovely. Perfect. So just give me one moment while I get this going. All right. It's far quicker than sitting for a portrait, but not that much quicker. So one moment. Do the picture things. Yes.
He gives fixes his mustache, gives a dashing smile.
Perfect. It takes a few minutes, obviously, the whole thing set up. But yes, we'll take the photograph.
All right, you get your photograph. And how long do those usually take to come out, appear?
Oh, once I take the equipment back to the hotel, in a couple of hours.
Wonderful. I'd love to see it.
Absolutely. I could get you a copy.
Excellent. I need a new portrait for my study upstairs.
Marvelous.
So, you had some questions.
Yes, we have learned a little bit about the Isle in our couple of days here. As news travels fast, as I'm sure you know. The Isle itself, before you came along, was certainly not as prosperous as it is now. What is your secret for turning it into the illustrious business that it is now?
Well, it's not really a secret, nor is it mine. We'd be nowhere without our illustrious fisher people, as it were. About 30 years ago, the tides started turning, and we realized that despite their smell and their less than fortunate appearance, people tend to overlook the herring as a genuine opportunity. And when they showed up, we took it. To be frank.
Left. Well, do you have any future plans for continuing the business, expanding perhaps?
Well, we've thought about it. The next bit, I think, would be to build another saltery a bit further out. The herring are much easier to move, ship as a product once they've been salted, dried, all of that preserved, as it were. So it would behoove us, I think, to have another settlement further out with another saltery. We could have housing out there for people as well, and have multiple locations for our business to prosper.
Absolutely. And would you say this is overall a family business, given that your mother and your brothers do take such an active part in helping you to keep everything afloat?
Oh, of course, yeah. I'd be nowhere without the four of them, honestly. And I consider the people who work for me family as well.
That is so lovely to hear. Wonderful sentiment. Well, those were the basics for me, but if anything pops up at dinner, I'm, of course, one of those that will always come up with something.
I can tell that about you. It's a great quality to have. Curiosity.
Yes, it has served me well so far in my line of work.
Excellent. About this time, Laura comes back into the room to announce that dinner is ready. So you can all make your way down the hall to the dining room. She sort of collects the wine glasses and everything, and takes you down there. Villy, I assume you're joining everyone.
I mean, I'm serving. Yeah.
So joining the room. Okay. The three of you and Zacharias make your way into the dining room. Already seated at the table are three familiar faces to you at this point. The godmother, Abella, at one end of the table, and to her left, Pete and Pace, the brothers you encountered before. Zacharias sort of encourages you to sit anywhere. He sits down at the head of the table, and Villy, amongst the small staff, begins to serve drinks and the first course of dinner.
Question: wasn't there a third other brother, Paul?
Sure.
It was Pete, Pace, and Paul, right? The twins, and then Paul, and then Zacharias. I have a new talent that I wanted to run by you.
Okay.
It's called Well Traveled. And once per mystery, you can make a manipulation roll to create an NPC
Okay.
that is situated in the area that you knew before.
Okay.
Could that possibly be Paul?
Paul? Sure. Paul Amundsen. Okay, so you are. How do you know Paul?
I know Paul. I know Paul from Manchester. In her perhaps revolutionary writing days.
Okay. So you know Paul. Paul worked when you knew him mostly as a shipper. He worked in shipping. Would show up in town every now and then with boat things that have come off a boat, crates of things. You'd remember what he looked like. The three of them are triplets.
Oh. Okay.
So he looked pretty much exactly like the other two. So you would have known that he is from this area, and that he had family here. Probably don't know a ton of history about him, but enough to know he's, well enough off, works for the family business, works for his brother. Yeah, you haven't seen him since you've been here.
Cool. So the part I roll for is you will decide how much they have changed since we last met and what they think of me now. And if the test fails, they are either hostile or in great need of my immediate help.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
This should be fun. One success.
Okay. An interesting turn of events. All right, so, okay. So do you get anything specific on a success?
On the success, it's just they are not necessarily hostile or don't necessarily.
Okay, it's that they don't hate you.
Away. They don't hate me. Yes.
I love that. Okay, so you succeed enough for them not to hate you. So yeah, last you heard from Paul, was probably a couple years ago. But you left on good, friendly terms. You just sort of haven't crossed paths since then. He's from the area. Obviously, you can put two and two together. This is his family because these two look exactly like him. And they all look exactly like their mom. Yeah, you haven't seen him since you've been here. And he is not currently here at dinner.
Gotcha. I am just realizing something. Pleasure to see all of you. This might be presumptuous of me. Will Paul be joining us this evening?
You see Pete and Pace look at each other and start to say something. And then Zacharias speaks up and says, no, unfortunately not. He is out on a shipping run. Won't be back for probably at least a week, unfortunately.
I guess I had not put it together when your brothers were kind enough to extend our invitation. I knew Paul from my days out in Manchester several years ago, but was always a very kind soul.
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, a small world indeed. It's unfortunate he can't join us.
Of course. Well, please give him my regards if you would.
Absolutely. So, I must ask the four of you, what does bring you to our island? Well, islands, as it were. What brings you to our home?
I am here conducting research on the area.
What sort of research do you do, Doctor?
Well, all sorts. I try to stay multidisciplinary in my studies. I find that it helps me in my medical practice to understand more than just basic anatomy. It fascinated me about the area of the recent upsurgence in aquatic life and the recent boom of the herring business.
Yes, the last 3 decades or so have been a real boon for us, especially for the people who lived here. It was a real struggle when I lived here as a child. It's nice to see everyone fed and clothed and housed and, well, smelling of fish but not starving.
It's very interesting. Have there been any surveys taken that might explain the change in their migratory patterns to cause them to gather in this area? Different tides, shifting of the canals?
I don't believe so. Our tidal patterns have become a bit more pronounced, extreme over the years. Nothing dangerous, obviously, just a bit of a change. But surveys done, no. The fisher folk aren't really the research types, if you know what I mean.
Well, I would be interested in conducting a few surveys while I am here, then, for the sake of academic development on the subject.
Of course. I'd love to hear what you find.
Yes. Are there any areas specifically that would be most beneficial to looking into? Perhaps areas where the herring tend to congregate, where fishing tends to be more plentiful.
Yes, we have a few places where the fishermen tend to find they congregate. We have a few maps dispersed between everyone. I'm sure one of them would be glad to show you.
I would find that most beneficial.
Of course. I see no problem with this.
Are there any off the top of your head, as the expert and the baron of this industry, that you're aware of?
Any places? Well, there is a sort of large gulf between Graveyard Isle and some of the other archipelago. It's actually one of the smaller islands out there we were considering expanding to, as I was mentioning to Miss Tilda earlier. It's quite a large congregation of fish out there, but it's quite far to go and then bring them all back to the Sultry here.
I was studying some maps of the area. Would that happen to be the same location as the what was it? They referred to it as the Deep Reef.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring to.
No, I heard that mentioned around town. I'll look into it myself.
Yes, I'm not familiar. That's not anything that's marked on any map that I have. He sort of looks over at Pete and Pace, looks at them and says, "Have either of you familiar with this? You spend more time in town than I do, blasted paperwork and all." And they both immediately kind of shake their heads. They look at each other, shake their heads. No, never heard of it.
Can I do an observation if nobody else wants to? It's not my best, but my dice have been so bad anyway.
Do it.
Whoever wants, you're all part of this conversation, all four of you. Whoever wants to do an observation check.
I will roll
Great.
observation.
I'll give it a shot.
Me too.
Well, I also have this. No, my observation's better.
They've done it.
Woo!
Morgan rolls so well in this game.
Oh my God, Morgan.
I'm sorry.
No, it's great. I love
I
it.
apologize for that.
No, I
It's
love
my
it.
instinct.
I love it when you all succeed, because it means I get to tell you interesting things, such as Tilda and Danni. Immediately, you Zacharias plays it off pretty well. His mistake was bringing the brothers in on the ruse, because immediately you look at the two of them. I think all of you can tell they have probably been coached to say, nope, never heard of it, don't know what you're talking about. That's probably a lie. Alina, since you got two, I'll give you one extra little bit. You've just been sort of listening to this conversation, and you notice something a little bit off during the part of the conversation when Tilda was asking about Paul. You didn't notice anything at first. It sort of strikes you as strange that he's not here, but I mean, fine. He's working. Why the other ones are not, you're not sure. But you notice when Zacharias addresses the two of them, the two brothers, they look to each other. And then Pace, who is sort of sitting next to an empty seat, presumably where Paul would sit, almost starts to turn his head like he's going to address somebody that's sitting there, remembers that they're not there, and then turns back. It's very strange. And you put a couple of things together, like it's almost as if he's supposed to be here, and it is weird to the two of them that he's not here, and they're trying to hide that.
Can I use my magic eyes to see if there's anyone in the house in like an area that I wouldn't expect, like, you know, the servants would be one place, and just to see like the way I sensed the mermaid before, see if I can sense a presence.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have to roll for that? I can't remember.
I can't remember if you made me roll for that. I think you did.
Yeah, let's do... Back to the stats. I'll say you could either do vigilance or observation.
We'll do observation. That's 0 this time.
Oh no. Yeah, you
Ooh, I do think I have a banked success. I think.
probably.
I think I have 1. Also, I'll just use it.
Because I think you've rolled. Yeah, because you rolled 2 while you were in the study.
Yeah.
2. So you would have had an extra. Okay, yeah. So you use that extra one. Yeah, you look between the brothers and you're like, something is off. They're acting weird. At the mention of their third brother. So you sort of look down and reach out, your eyes sort of scanning around, just kind of like you're looking around the room, and you feel several presences. You've got everybody that is in the room with you now. You have a couple of people that are down the hall in another room, sort of milling about, presumably like in the kitchen or something like that. But there is one presence that is a little bit weaker than the rest because it is a little farther away, but it is directly beneath you.
Lily.
Yes.
She's just gonna gesture her over and then like say it quietly so that hopefully no one else can hear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind checking if they have a cellar or something?
Yes, of course, right away. Walk over to Laura. And I'm just going to step into the kitchen for a moment.
Oh, of course.
Lily's gonna go in there. Is there any fruit out?
Sure. There's a bowl of oranges.
Okay. What Villy is going to do is she is going to start preparing oranges, cutting like slices of oranges, and then she is going to cut her arm with the knife.
Okay.
And like grab a towel or a handkerchief and start pressing on it. Who else is in there at the moment?
I'll say there's two other people in here. They're neither of them are the cook. The cook is serving the dinner that they made, but two of the other serving staff that are helping like prepare things in between garnishes and things for the courses.
Okay. I'm sorry. Do you have a washroom? If I get any blood on my outfit, I'll never hear the end of it. I could get sacked.
Oh, yes. Go into the hallway. Two doors down.
No, I'm sorry, like a laundry room.
Oh, yes. It's down in the cellar near the wine caskets.
And the door to there is.
Oh, right in the corner, just there.
Thank you. Sorry, I promise I'll wash this.
Of course.
Head down there. Very easily, like, sort of stifle the bleeding and wrap it up as she goes down.
Okay. Villy, you head down through a set of doors sort of at the back of the kitchen, lead to a set of stairs that go down into a darkened cellar. You look around on one wall, sort of near the wall, there are some wash basins, some buckets, a couple of washboards, things like that. And then farther in, there is another sort of like rounded at the top wooden door.
Is it locked?
No.
And no one else is down here that I can see?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I will quietly open the door.
Okay. You open the door quietly. It's easy enough. It's well taken care of down here for something that exists so close to the ocean. You open the door. You look into a large, dimly lit cellar room. Sort of across the walls, there are several barrels that are stacked up on one side, and then there are several racks of wine. There are wine bottles sticking out.
She'll probably give a quiet, "Hello? Is there anyone down here?"
You say this, and from one of the far corners of the cellar, you hear something that sounds like knocking.
Villy is going to move over quickly to that area and sort of assess what's going on. Like, is there a false wall? Is there a box? A barrel?
There are several barrels, actually, that are sort of stacked up in this corner.
One more time, please.
You hear once again a little more frantic, a sound like knocking on wood, like it's coming from either behind these barrels or from one of them.
I'll try to move them. Well, I guess I'll see if the lid is removable.
Yeah. One of them, you notice, most of them are like sealed casks. One of them, I think you notice, has been opened and then had the lid replaced. So you reach over to that one, sort of trying to shift it away from the others a little bit. It's pretty heavy, but you go and you don't have to roll for this. You just do it. Pry the very strong, and it's already been opened once. You pry the previously opened lid off the cask, and where you would expect wine in a wine cellar, you find instead, looking up at you, bound and gagged, a very familiar face, because there are two more of him sitting up at the dinner table.
Mr. Paul, I presume.
He sort of nods.
She'll help him up.
You help him up. You notice he is at this point sort of markedly thinner than his other two brothers, who are a little bit more sort of like stout, muscular, kind of like bruiser types. He is much thinner than them, but the face is exactly the same. He sort of stands up in the barrel.
Right, I'm going to remove your wrappings, but I'm going to need you to remain quiet, because I assume whoever put you down here, or whomever, is not going to be pleased to know that you're out of the barrel, but I do intend to get you out if that's what you want.
He nods vigorously.
Yeah, she'll remove his bindings.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My name is Villy.
Right. And who the fuck are you? No offense.
Oh, it's fine. I'm here with the doctor and the others, and we were... Well, why were you in a barrel, if I may ask?
Well, Billy, that's kind of a long story.
Does it have anything to do with the mermaid?
Okay, maybe it's not quite as long of a story as I anticipated.
I figure we skip the middle. We don't have much time.
Do my brothers know you're down here?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't know your doctor and the others, but I'm gonna recommend that we not be down here for very long.
Perfect. I'll distract the other staff, and we are staying at the inn. If you'd like to maybe sneak in and go into our room, and we'll find you there.
Great.
Right.
Yes.
Just give me a moment. She'll go back upstairs, produce, probably just take one of the clean cloths, get it wet, and then bring, pull her sleeve down, go back up to the kitchen, and present the cleaned cloth to them. And then she's going to, is there like a back door as like out of this kitchen, I assume, for like deliveries and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Billy's going to try to distract the two chefs by like talking to them at the stove about like, okay, well, this needs to be a very specific thing, and there wasn't enough spice in this or whatever it is.
Okay. I'm gonna have you roll manipulation.
Let's do it. 1 success.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way over, and you start nicely but firmly to hold their attention. talking to them about the next course and sort of what needs to be modified to hold their attention long enough for Paul to make his way up the stairs. You see over their shoulders the door sort of creak open just a bit, and you see his face appear, sort of waiting for you to give the nod. And as you do, he quietly makes his way out the back door and disappears into the night.
And Billy will quickly say, thank you very much. I know this is a little bit of it's a bit much, but it's better to have it this way than to have them upset. Now I'm going to go bring this fruit back out. If there's anything you've been needing from me, let me know.
They sort of nod, go back to what they were doing. Been scolded a little bit. They can't say anything because you're a guest in their house.
She'll bring the sliced oranges out to Alina. I hope they're to your liking, my love. No, don't say my love. Sorry. I hope they're to your liking, them.
Oh, thank you.
And just kind of gives like a nod as if like it's okay. Like things are good.
So I'm going to say the rest of you notice that Alina has, and we're going to roll back time just a teensy bit for any conversations that you want to have while this has been going on. But you do all notice, so just hold on to this little pinpoint. Alina whispers something to Villy leave for about 5 minutes, and then come back with a bowl of orange slices and say, everything's great. Is there anything you wanted to discuss or do in the meantime? No is an acceptable answer.
Yeah, I think the plan was to not die at dinner. So as long as we accomplish that for the most part, I think we're good.
Okay, you accomplish that. You have some more inane conversation. If there were any other questions Danny wanted to ask, Zacharias is most accommodating, tries to answer you as best he can.
I think Danny would just continue to ask conversations about the area, trying to keep up this ruse of like being on research and stuff, and seeing if they slip up or give us any more information on things that we don't know already.
Okay. Yeah, I think you've got. I think you've sort of got what you're gonna get. At this point, everything else that he says seems to be pretty above board. He is very nice, very accommodating, trying to answer your questions as best he can. A very personable man, very charismatic. A few minutes later, as Villy makes her way back in with the orange slices, nobody says anything about it. I think Godmother Abella probably gives you a sort of funny look, like, what are you, we have this entire dinner, what are you do? But she knows better than to say anything. So sort of eyes you, doesn't say anything, sort of shakes her head, and continues eating. Real quick, whoever is on their guard, I feel like it's all of you at this point. Just everybody roll vigilance for me.
I don't know if this will qualify, but I have something called Eagle Eye. Is you gain +2 to vigilance when trying to interpret a situation that you're not directly involved in.
That's perfect for this.
Cool.
There are the successes.
Right there at the end.
Still 0.
Sid!
Oh my god!
I got 0.
How many was that? That was
Tilda.
6.
Tilda, do not pay attention.
Oh my god.
Okay. So
Tilda's just out
Danni-
here trying to keep the conversation going. Like,
honestly,
she's
yeah.
just-
Uh,
regaling them with stories about Paul and Manchester.
they're
how
loving
he-
it. Well, Zacharias is loving it. The other three, not so much, but Zacharias is loving it. He's having time of his life. And Alina was just doing a whole bunch of like magic stuff. So I feel like that's pretty occupying. Simultaneously, put this one back on real quick. Simultaneously, sort of in the middle of conversation, as Tilda has just told some hilarious to her and Zacharias story about Paul. She's telling the story, just doing a great job, all full of charisma. Zacharias is loving it. He is just laughing, and they are having a great time. In the middle of this, at the same time, Danni and Billy, you realize that something is very wrong. Danni, you are, I assume, as he answers your questions, taking notes, sort of scribbling down in your journal, which no one seems to really mind. If they do, they're not saying anything. But you sort of, through the laughter, as you are kind of vaguely listening to the conversation that's happening, you hear shouting coming from outside. It's one voice. You don't know who it is. You can't really make out what they're saying, but you hear very angry shouting coming from outside the house. And at the same time, Villy, you look, something catches your eye out the dining room window. You smell smoke. And at first, you sort of turn to look, maybe something's gone wrong in the kitchen. Something has started to burn. The next course of dinner has started to burn. But as you go to turn out the dining room window, sort of out to the front of the house, you see, starting to lick up the side of it, flames. And through the flames...
On the house?
On the house. And through the flames, Danni, as you look up and the shouting continues, you see what Villy sees. And as one of them sort of licks up and subsides just for a second, you look out the window and you see standing a few feet away from the house, next to an empty barrel of oil, Oscar. Standing on the beach. Still in his priest collar, shouting something at everyone who is inside. And that is where we're going to end our session for the day. As danger once again
What
creeps
a perfect
in
distraction for us to leave.
where you least expect it,
Or to die.
as the house has been set ablaze. We're gonna leave it there for today.
Okay.
So thanks everybody
So hype.
for hanging out with us today. If you were live with us on Twitch, we love you very much. If you're watching the VOD or you're watching this on YouTube, we also love you very much. No matter how you engage with us, we're just heckin' glad that you were here. Let's do our experience questions real quick. Questions for experience points. Did you participate in the session?
Yes.
Good job,
Yes.
everyone. Great participation today. Did you confront any Vaesen?
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe two.
You did.
Possibly two.
For sure one, though. Because you did talk to and maybe offend a little bit a mermaid earlier in the day. Did you identify a previously unknown basin?
We confirmed.
We
Well,
can-
we took the XP from identifying her in the last session, so
Not
But
her,
Yeah.
but
the sun.
the sun, because we confirmed that her sun is half basin.
Basin. And it is her son. That was not confirmed before.
That's true.
Mhm.
Take it. Were you affected by your dark secret?
No.
I didn't do any grave
Me-
robbing today.
Maybe.
I'm also a maybe. Because we're in the phase of like, do we just kill them? Or like, how are we going to solve this problem?
Yeah.
And I think Villy is very much at the mindset of like, well, human sacrifice bad. How can we stop that? Murder? Maybe.
I like that. Yeah, I like that as an internal conflict. I buy that.
I mean, I feel like Alina's always affected by her dark secret because of who she is as a person.
It did sort of come up in front of everybody.
Yeah. So I say yes.
I buy it. Did you take risks to protect other people?
Billy did.
Billy
Show.
super did. Like a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Billy aggressively did.
Mm-hmm.
I had that arm cutting thing up for like probably 25 minutes. I was like,
Really?
if I have to like get away from people, this is what I'm gonna do.
Anybody else?
No, not really.
Okay. Have you learned anything? And what? It's my favorite one.
Oh my God.
We learned a lot about the
Zacharias'
herring business.
A lot.
Sure did. And about
Well,
Zacharias.
Can't
Yeah,
believe you
and
made me
Paul.
improv so much about fishing,
I'm really sorry about that.
which I know
I
nothing about.
I'm so sorry.
I was like, yeah, totally.
I could have just been like, she asked questions about the business.
No.
My bad.
No, I require role playing. Because I would have, because my ass would have said, "What are you asking?" Like a jerk. You guys, yeah, you learned a shit ton of stuff. Did you develop something in your headquarters? No. But you will. I feel like we're coming up on solving this one somehow, some way.
One way or another.
Don't know how. Have no idea what you guys are gonna do. Didn't expect Alina's solution to be the power of love, but I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Did you perform an extraordinary action?
Yes.
Yeah. I rescued a man from a barrel.
You did rescue a
put a
man
whole
who was being held hostage in his own cellar.
And I put the kitchen staff in line, so you know that's a feat unto itself. If anyone's ever
Extraordinary.
worked in a kitchen.
Yeah, I worked at an Applebee's for a while, so
I played
Alina
the piano brilliantly.
definitely.
No.
I don't think I could bend any mind enough to say they were extraordinary.
I don't know.
Played the
Danny
piano really well.
apologized.
Oh, that's true.
Danny did
That's really
apologize.
true.
That is a big deal.
All right, I'll
That
take an
was-
XP for that then.
That was something.
I feel like it was an important moment.
Tilda got
Character
Danny to
telling
apologize.
us.
Did she?
Did she?
I don't know.
What
He
did
was
she
trying to-
do? Oh no, it's okay. That's okay. I accept it. I've leveled up already, so I'm okay. I'm okay this session. Thanks. Appreciate
That. Those are all of our questions. All right. Anything else before we go away for the week?
Come watch Infinite RP Monday at 8:00 Eastern for some Flames of Freedom. I'm very excited. We're about to fight Freemasons.
Get
It's
'em.
gonna be fun.
after this at 8:30, come watch on LB Hack 'em Up. We're doing some Playthings of the Gods, where 2 of these people will be with us streaming. Maybe a little bean will be back.
A special bean?
A special bean.
Everyone's favorite bean?
The one and only.
It's Surza.
Surza!
Perfect.
What if she
planes here?
What if she just showed up?
I would happily play Sursa again.
That'd be amazing. All right. Yeah, come hang out with us tonight. Go hang out with Sid tomorrow. Come hang out with us again on Tuesday for Tabletop Tuesdays. It's a Burbs week, I believe, this week. So the kids are playing Savage Worlds. Switched systems recently, and it's awesome. So yeah, Tuesday night, and then we'll be just like that on our regular schedule for the rest of the week. Elegant Magics on Thursday night, Neon Souls on Friday night, Saturday night's Mistborn on Saturday, and then back around for this, whatever it is, on Sunday to see what happens because the house that you're in is on fire. And also, you know a mermaid now. 2 things that are definitely linked in some excellent, well-told story. I'm sure. We'll be back 1 week from today for this. That is August 15th, I believe. Holy shit. I gotta just stop doing that and looking at the calendar because I scare myself every week. I have an existential crisis every Sunday at about 7 p.m. August 15th, Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week. And until then, good game and good night, Internet.